hood champion, boxing and sports. I'm losing my voice, man. I've been at my son's basketball game cheering him on. So please excuse me. But again, welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win and find a way to lose. Ryan Garcia returned last night. And let me tell you, Ryan Garcia, he has speed. He does. But he's reckless. And when I was watching him fight, you know what I was thinking? This is just another Amir Khan. But Amir Khan had more skill, and I think Amir Khan had more pop. So, but when you watch Ryan Garcia, he's almost fighting like amateurish, like almost a point scoring system at times, but without a jab. He last night was doing his best. I think it was his best effort to try to emulate Canelo Alvarez. You know, Ryan Garcia is no Canelo Alvarez. He had the high guard up and was trying to walk to go down, and it just wasn't working. And that shot he hit him with, I think it was the second round, where the African went down, is because his feet got tangled. But he did get hit with an uppercut, so like a hook uppercut. But it was more of his feet getting tangled. But just watching Ryan Garcia, he really needs, he's talented, okay? But he really needs to fight 3 or 4 more, to be C, B level fighters before he steps up against a Tank, Teofimo, Lomachenko, Rolly, Haney. He just really does, because what he was doing last night, that's not gonna get it. It's not gonna get it. And when you watch him let his hands go, it's just, his hands are so quick. Like it's like watching Amir Khan, but Amir Khan's hands were quicker. But Ryan Garcia's hands is pretty damn close. But he's just not setting his he's not setting traps. I think he's fallen in love with the fact that he has some pop and he has some speed. But anyone who knows boxing knows you're not gonna knock out these African fighters. Has he not paid attention to Joshua Clottey? Has he not paid attention to Ike Corte? These fighters coming out of Africa, you have to kill them. And Ryan Garcia he wasn't able to pull it off last night, but he did win. It was unanimous. He won every round, in my opinion. But he got caught a couple of times. He rushing in, and he got Tagar was able to time him, hit him with a couple shots. A little more pop on those shots, maybe he could have buzzed him or got Ryan hurt. But Ryan was just walking him down and overwhelming him, and just keeping that constant, just physical pressure, mental pressure on him, stressing him out. But to go handle it well. But Ryan Garcia is going to have to figure something out, because Joe Goosen may not be the best trainer for him. I think Ryan Garcia needed to stay in that Canelo camp where there was some discipline and being held accountable. See, Ryan Garcia reminds me of like a little kid, man. And you got these little kids and they don't want to listen, right? They all want to get their way. And you know what? I don't believe in necessarily spanking children and stuff like that, but sometimes they need to get a little bit of heat put on their butt. And that's what Ryan needed. He needed to be in a camp like that where Eddie Reynoso will put a little heat on him. Big brother Canelo come and chirp him up and say, hey, you're not doing what you're supposed to. You're never going to perform to your potential if you don't put the work in. And it's like the saying goes, if you haven't heard, I'm going to tell you now, if your effort is greater, your reward's going to be greater. Ryan Garcia's effort wasn't as great as it could have been. Yeah, he had some good wins over there with Reynoso. But I think Ryan just wants to be something. He wants his boxing career to reflect his social media presence. It's not going to happen. You got to earn that, man. And you're not going to get the respect by doing all these little funky videos and showing how fast you are and doing the body shot challenge. You're going to have to get in there, man, and really put the work in. Now, he can fight. I don't want anyone to take this wrong. Ryan Garcia can fight. But just coming in there, man, shoe shining, lunging in, throwing reckless punches, missing the target, leaning in, trying to put your elbow on somebody's back and the neck, and when they're coming up, trying to catch them blind with the hook. Like, if the referee's going to let you do it, to me, you should do it. And I believe in that. But for Ryan Garcia, that's the dirty tactics and all that. Yeah, I get it, it's a fight. It's not necessary. You got too much skill, too much reach, too much speed, and you have some power. Let's see the skill. Right now, we're not seeing the skill. And he absolutely just abandoned the jab last night. Absolutely abandoned the jab, which was, I think, had he used it, he could have really gotten to go out of it. But Ryan Garcia, he didn't do that. And the one thing about Amir Khan used his jab. But sometimes he would just throw it, not to hurt you. It's more to kind of blind you. And then he would let go this barrage of like 8, 10, 12 super fast punches that all have some pop on them. And that's what Khan would get people in trouble, is punching in bunches. And Ryan Garcia, look, people can say what they want about Amir Khan, but the fighter Ryan Garcia should be looking at and trying to emulate is a young Amir Khan. How he would use his speed to his advantage. He wasn't in there trying to walk people down. Ryan Garcia is trying to be Canelo. He doesn't have a Triple G type fighter could emulate Canelo. Edgar Berlanga can emulate Canelo. Miguel Cotto type fighters. You see, those are guys who get that high guard up, walk you down, and who hit extremely hard, thudding type shots. Ryan Garcia is not that. He can walk you down with speed, but he doesn't have those one-hitter quitters. And he's got to realize that. He's more like an Amir Khan. Come in there, move around, let go 4 or 5 punches, and one of those shots is going to catch you. It's going to blind you. You're not going to see it coming because it's so fast and the combinations and different angles. And then once you get them buzzed, get them dancing in the ring, then you unload. And see, I think Ryan Garcia needs to understand that. He's with De La Hoya. Who knows what De La Hoya is doing with him now? He's the little brother and all this crap according to De La Hoya. De La Hoya is pushing him now that he's with Joe Goosen, saying all roads lead to Garcia. No, they don't. I think there are some roads that, if that lead to him, would generate a pretty handsome painting for another fighter, but all roads don't lead to Ryan Garcia. All roads lead to Tank Davis. And let's just be clear on that. Ryan and Tank would be a good fight, but this high guard trying to walk Tank down, that's not going to work. Tank's used to fighting tall guys, big guys, guys with speed. Tank has speed and high IQ, and he has plenty of power. Ryan tries to rush it on Tank, he's going to get clipped. Now, if Amir Khan was fighting Tank, I'm talking about Amir Khan in his prime. Everybody struggles with Amir Khan. But if Amir Khan, his thing, sometimes he would get a little tired. But I think Amir Khan, a young Amir Khan and Tank, like both of them in their primes, I think Amir Khan beats Tank. Because Amir Khan was just hard to deal with, that speed and the skill set and the pop. And just, non-stop flurries. Like, it's hard to get away from that. You just get discouraged after a while. I think if Ryan could learn something from Amir Khan to really make his appearances in the ring a lot easier. But didn't do himself any favors in my opinion. Ryan Garcia, we know he's been off in 15 months. He needs to take the rest of this year, continuing to build his profile, get some more fights in there with some BC level fighters, get him out the ring, and then bubble up. And now he's ready. But he's got to fight 4 times this year. This is his first one. We got to see him in it 3 more times. He didn't take any damage at all. Put him back in there in 60 days against somebody else. Didn't give him the 3-month break, bang again, and get another fight at Christmas time. That's what I would do with him, because he took absolutely no damage, nothing at all. So he's still fresh and he's ready to go. But I know the body needs a rest too, because just the way they train, sparring, running, just the weight training, the calisthenics, everything, that just takes a toll on your body. Your body you have to afford your body time to recover. But leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. He has so many options. He does have a name, but I just don't think all roads lead to him. I don't think De La Hoya should just throw him to the wolves quite yet. He needs a couple more fights. Not just, 1, to get the ring rust off. 2, to really understand Joe Goosen's style. Joe Goosen isn't good for everybody. His signature fighter was Diego Corrales. You know what I'm saying? Who else? I mean, he had Chris Arreola there at the end, but he's been around. He has a lot of respect. He brings a lot to the table. But Joe Goosen, I mean, I'm not sure he's the right fit for Garcia. I'm not because, but the one thing I will say about Joe Goosen is when he gets a fighter that comes in, he's like, I don't have to teach him how to fight. He knows how to fight. We're just looking to get a few areas and make him better. And that's what he's looking to do. So first thing he needs to work on Ryan Garcia is the damn jab. I mean, I could teach him that. And Joe needs to figure that out. Teach that boy the jab and stop this Canelo emulation because not everybody can do what Canelo does. And those are just facts, man. Canelo's on a whole another level. I'm trying to think who'll be an interesting fight for him. They're pushing for Tank, but I don't think he should fight Tank. Ryan Garcia is tall, man. 135. I think Josh Taylor smokes him because Josh Taylor's fast and he has an IQ and he has pop. I think Garcia will get hit, but I think it's a good fight. But I would like to see him fight, maybe like I said, 4 more C-level fighters. But after that, not Tank. Put him in there with a Kambosos type fighter. You know, that kind of fighter. Ease him into a Kambosos. Put him in there with Pedraza. Put him in there with Linares. He was supposed to fight Linares before, and somehow that didn't happen. Put him in there with Linares, Pedraza. Linares or Pedraza. That's what I put him in with. Then you can throw him in there with Josh Taylor, a Kambosos, a Tank. That's what I think they should do. But nonetheless, man, he had a good fight. He did good. Congrats to him. But he reminded me of Amir Khan with that speed and just letting those punches go. But he's not as skilled as Amir Khan. Amir Khan wasn't really reckless, but he knew he had speed, and sometimes he would stay in close too long and get caught in an exchange. But you heard Amir Khan, that's just more problems for you if you can't get him out there because he's coming back stronger and harder. Ryan Garcia has shown that he can come back, but we can't quite put him in that same category yet. I'm just talking about stylistically. He reminds me of Amir Khan, but Amir Khan is much, much better in my opinion. And Ryan should be trying to emulate Amir Khan style, not Canelo. He doesn't have Canelo type power. And if you disagree, leave your comments below. But that being said, man, I appreciate you guys looking at the video. Shout out to all the veterans. You guys keep safe. Please like and subscribe. Trying to keep the videos coming. And as always, I'm in the breeze.